LEGO never released any US military related set, so I've decided to build my own army. It consists out of 2 tanks, 3 Humvees, a Black Hawk as well as a speedboat. And in this video I will build an entire military base, which even includes some cool functions. Okay, so the first 2 vehicles I want to add to the collection are this speedboat as well as my custom made woodland camouflaged Humvee. And I think my marine raiders will go perfectly with these vehicles. Speaking of the rangers, I stored all my minifigures in this case right here. And you can find my marine raiders here. I do have 3 of the fully camouflaged figures, as well as 1 with camouflage pants and this light gray torso. So yeah, let's gear them up real quick. I've grabbed a bunch of weapons as well as custom printed balaclava heads and fast helmets to round everything up. Now we are ready to actually start building the base, which will have a size of 96 by 80 studs. First I had to build a border to raise the whole build by 3 bricks. I then added black plates, and you will see in a second why I made this. Okay, so my plan for this part of the mock is to build a harbor where the speedboat just arrived, and this marine raider wearing the gray jacket is waiting for the other crewmen coming from this boat. Now the time has come where we'll add all these transparent 1x2 tiles to all the black area. This took me quite some minutes, but you are lucky because you will see all the progress in only 10 seconds. Alright, so I just placed all the needed 1x2 tiles in transparent blue. And next I will start raising this whole platform over here, where the Humvee later will be. I've started building the outlines of the harbor by using dark bluish gray bricks to simulate that they are wet. I've then added a few light bluish gray tiles to create smooth transitions between both gray colors. Now the time has come to start building the whole ground, and I made this by using the snot technique once again. This means that the stud of the bricks are not on top, which allowed me to create a smooth surface. And after some more work, the first part of the build was done. I've changed my plans for this part of the build, so let me remove this here real quick. And now I will add another wall, and once all of this is raised at this level right here, I will build an even better wall, which will separate this part from the future part right here. After adding more dark bluish and light bluish gray bricks to the mock, it was time to implement a more complicated wall design. I first placed G-slopes and then added a combination of plates and tiles and attached this by using modified bricks. This allowed me to create a unique wall design, and yes, as you can see, I'm using duplo bricks while building Lego. Alright, so I just made a bunch of these wall pieces and I will add them to the rest of the wall now. The preparation allowed me to add all the wall elements real quick to the whole build. And here you can see in regular speed how the design comes together. It is simple, but I really like the pattern created by all the 1x1 tiles. And to end up this wall right here, I've added barbed wire all over the place. And don't worry, I will add it here as well, but you have to wait a bit. Alright, next I will build the part for this Black Hawk. And I will place it here at these 2 base plates, and I will use these minifigures right here. I've got 4 Air Force Airborns in total, and I will gear them up right now. And here you can see my Power Jumper Rescue team, which all of them wearing fast helmets again. Before I could build the actual landing pad for the Black Hawk helicopter, I had to raise both 32 by 32 base plates by 3 bricks. I then used the snot technique again to create somewhat of a circle where I can place the Black Hawk in. It is pretty satisfying seeing how all of this just perfectly fits together. The structure for the landing pad is done, so now it's time to tile everything off and then add it to the rest of the build. This again took me quite some time, but you are lucky because you can see it coming together in a few seconds, and I have to say that I really like all the white markings created by the white tiles. The trans red colored plates are supposed to be lights. Next I've combined the landing pad with the rest I've made so far. As you can see, there's enough space for the Black Hawk as well. Now I just had to tile everything at the left and right of the helicopter, and as you can see, I've used dark bluish gray pieces to create a pathway. Since you have seen me placing a lot of tiles, let's finish this by using some magic. And here you can see all 4 parajumpers walking to the Black Hawk. Now the time has come to present you my most heavy weapons of this whole army base. I've made an Abrams as well as a Bradley, and this Humvee you already have seen in a camouflaged version. I've also prepared these 7 soldiers, which will perfectly go with the vehicles. Now I just have to build an area where I can place all my tanks and soldiers. I've started building a gate, which is actually openable. I've then added the same walls as before and started building a road, which is dark bluish grey to simulate the division road and not the place where tanks can be placed. Once all of this was done, it was time to add it to the rest of the mock. There's obviously a lot of stuff missing, but don't worry, I've prepared everything. Let's start by adding all the needed pieces to finish the border. Next I've added this light bluish grey stripe at the left of the mock. And to create a sturdy construction I've added filler bricks right next to it. Now I added one missing module to the rest of the wall. I've then added dark bluish grey chains at the rest of the walls, which are supposed to be barbed wire. Next I've added markings for the dark bluish grey road at the left and right. I've then grabbed this huge module and filled in the last big gap. Now I just had to fill in the last stripe at the left by using light bluish grey 2x2 tiles. Everything is prepared, so let's add the Abrams as well as our Bradley. The only part which isn't built at this 48x48 plate is the area behind the wall. I will add a surface where I can place the Humvee I just have showed you before. One feature of my Bradley is the openable door at the back. I've also added infantry as well as tankers all over the area. They are taking care of their tanks and getting ready to get in of them. The final vehicle I want to add to the collection is this Humvee with a TOW missile carrier. As usual, I raised the final base plate by 3 bricks. Alright, now it's time to make the final tile work and then complete the whole mock by adding a command station over there. After tiling basically everything, it was time to build a command station as well as a weapon container. And these 2 soldiers wearing their videos are working in the command station. Yes, Harry Potter just started working in the army. Speaking of the containers, I've decided to go with white as base color. And to make them look more interesting, I've added light bluish grey pieces in the inner and outer side of them. I've decided to go with masonry bricks because of their texturing. I think they perfectly fit the look of a container. Once the first wall was done, it was time to build something you all love, the interior. As I already mentioned, the first container is going to be the HQ, so I've decided to go with 2 chairs as well as 2 computers integrated into the walls. The second container will be the storage room for weapons, so I first had to find a lot of weapons and helmets. I've attached the helmets including night vision devices at the wall. I've made this by attaching 1x1 rounded plates at modified bricks. And to round up the look of it, I've added this custom made crate. As you can see, this perfectly fits in the back of the container. Now the fun finally begins and we can add all the weapons. The base constructions of the containers are nearly finished. I just have to add some more white masonry bricks as well as some modified plates at the left and right of the container. To add some texture, I've added these bars and we can finally build the doors. And if you're wondering, of course they are openable. Yeah, I know, the sound was super satisfying. The final thing I have to add is a roof, which I want to be removable. And to make this work I had to build it in several sections. I've added some 1x2 light bluish grey grill pieces to the roof to add some more detail and boom, it's done. I just have to add it real quick. The final step is to add the command station to the rest of the army base. Once this was done, I could tile off the last bit and boom, the base is done. Just let me add some army rangers to protect the base real quick. And the final details I have to add are some more crates in the harbor. And now I'm glad to present you my fully working LEGO army base. As you can see, my army base is full of cool stories. The Marine Raiders just arrived and bringing a dangerous person to their officer. The para-rescue jumpers are getting into the Black Hawk, which is ready for takeoff. And the infantry is getting ready for combat, supported by their Bradley and Abrams. So this is my LEGO army I've always wanted. Feel free to like and subscribe, and if you haven't already, feel free to watch the video visible on the screen. Thanks for watching and see you next time.